The following recording is a Somali Society of Engineers presentation conducted on August 17th, 2025. Engineer Adam Hayow is a licensed professional civil engineer with over 11 years of experience in transportation planning and highway engineering. He currently serves as principal professional engineer for the City of Minneapolis, where he leads complex transportation projects at the municipal level for one of the largest cities in the United States. Engineer Adam holds a degree in civil engineering with a focus in transportation and highway engineering from the University of Minnesota. In addition to his technical and professional background, Engineer Adam Hayow was a founding member of the Somali Society of Engineers and currently serves on the SSC Board of Directors.
أنت presentation اللغة الإنجليزية واسمنا إن شاء الله. So Yusuf Abd Hakim, please jump in if you need to clarify anything of Somali for me. So um, today, one second here. Today I'm presenting this topic is framework for developing effective public works in emerging cities. Manta, this topic is a very detailed topic, but we don't have much time, inshallah. So I'll give a brief presentation and hopefully cover a few topics. Presentation overview. Today I will be using the City of Minneapolis Public Works Department as an example in terms of what to follow in terms of framework for developing a effective public works department. I work for the City of Minneapolis. I am a professional engineer in the Transportation Engineering Design Division. I am a manager, so I manage street, roadway, bridge design and construction projects. So I use my experience the last 10 years now working for the City of Minneapolis as kind of the information for today's PowerPoint presentation. So today I'll cover a few topics. One is long-term vision, long-term and short-term visions to kind of develop an effective public works department. Long-term in terms of vision and policy documents. Short-term, developing a 5-year capital improvement plan. And then also we'll get into something very important, engineering standards and licensure. And finally, public trust and ethics. Inshallah, I'll close the presentation with a question and answer session at the end. But inshallah, if you have any questions, please raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself and ask those questions, inshallah. Same thing for Yusuf Abd Hakim. If you want to ask any questions or get clarifications, please jump in, inshallah. This is a picture of the City of Minneapolis. I think I used this picture in the previous presentation. This is a city I work in, I live in. It's not a large city compared to like New York, but it's a mid-sized level city. I think the next slide I'll show some more information. So Minneapolis, we have a population of 430,000 people, residents that live in the city. It's a city of many lakes. We have 13 lakes in the city, as well as the largest river in North America. The Mississippi River starts on the north end in America, starting in Minnesota here, all the way down to the Gulf Coast there in Louisiana. But it starts here in Minnesota. So we have the large river here. The city was founded in 1867, over 150 years ago. I have a picture here of our mayor on the top right. His name is Jacob Fry. He's our mayor. In Minneapolis, we have council wards. We have council members. There's 13 of them. You can see here a picture of the 13 council members. One of them is a Somali council member here, Jamal Usman. So this is the governing body of the city. So all the decisions in the city of Minneapolis comes through the mayor and the council office. So all the funding and all the large decisions in terms of the city comes through these folks here. City of Minneapolis Public Works. So today I'll be explaining a little bit about the Public Works Department. The mission statement for our department where I work is very simple. We build, operate, and maintain public infrastructure. That is kind of our core service at the Public Works Department. Our goal is to provide services with a high-performing public works department. And this year, our 2025 funding for the City of Minneapolis Public Works is $225 million in infrastructure investment. On the right-hand side, you can see a breakdown of the existing conditions in terms of what we maintain. We have over 4,000 streets of streets in the city of Minneapolis that we maintain. We have 820 traffic signals, more than 50,000 street lights, 1,700 kilometers of sanitary sewer pipe and infrastructure we maintain, as well as 1,100 kilometers of storm sewer pipes. And also, finally, we have 1,680 kilometers of water main that is included in the city infrastructure here. So that kind of gives you a highlight of the city and the scope of the work that we do in terms of building, operating, maintaining infrastructure in the city. With any city, you have to have, or department, you have to have organizational chart or structure. This is very important in any city in the whole world. You need some sort of a chain of command, or you need a organization. Minneapolis, we have a public works department director. The director is in charge of several divisions which manage different types of scope items. I'll talk more about the different divisions in the upcoming slides, departments, but I just wanted to give you a high level view of the breakdown of the department. So we have a public works director, then we have two deputy directors. One is for the business administration, and one is our deputy director / city engineer. The city engineer is responsible for 6 departments: surface water and sewers, water treatment distribution, traffic and parking services, transportation maintenance repair, transportation engineering and design, and finally transportation planning and programming. Then also we have another director, deputy director, that's more for administrative issues, and also fleet services, all the vehicles that we use in our department. Just a quick breakdown here visually of the 8 departments we have. I mentioned fleet services, so all the vehicles we need to do our job and to do service in the city, we have a group that maintains and purchases vehicles for us, that does all the oil change and routine maintenance to make sure that we can. Second, we have solid waste recycling. We want to keep our city clean, so we have trash services that the city provides for residents to pick up their garbage, and recycling as well. We have surface water and sewers, so we have I mentioned a lot of beautiful lakes and river here in the city. So we want to maintain our rivers by controlling the water that when it rains, and make sure we clean it before it gets into our lakes and river. Traffic and parking services, all the traffic signal, lighting, all the parking signs out in the road, they maintain that. Next is transportation engineering design. This is my division where I work. I am a design engineer, so I design the plans and also manage construction. This is where we do all the engineering in the public works department. Transportation maintenance repair, this is one of the most important divisions. This is where they maintain the streets and all the infrastructure. When it snows, Minneapolis, Minnesota is a very cold state. It snows half the year, so they do all the snow plowing, street maintenance, street sweeping, and make sure the sidewalks are clear of snow and dirt. And also the last 2, planning. This is our planning group. They do long-term planning in terms of figuring out what streets to build in the future, and also our vision documents. I'll talk more about that later. And finally, water treatment. So our water department, they clean and all the drinking water in the city of Minneapolis. We have 2 treatment plants and a wastewater treatment plant as well in the city, where they clean the water, also distribute the water throughout the city. Okay, first important topic for any city or organization is a long-term vision. If you don't have a long-term vision, your city will not be successful. Minneapolis, we have a lot of policy documents that we look into the future to kind of see what the city will look like, or how we want the city to look like in the future. And these policies help guide our planning, our design, everything at the city. We look at these documents in terms of vision and how to implement change at the City of Minneapolis Public Works. So for example, we have our Minneapolis 2040 plan. We're looking out. This was started back in 2020. So we had a 20-year plan in terms into the future, how the city will look in terms of streets, transit, parks, all that different things in terms you want to improve the city and how beautiful it is and infrastructure. So we have all these guiding documents to help us, with the vision and how to improve the city long term. For me in particular, I use the street design guide. This is very important in terms of how you design streets, and also the requirements you need for engineering wise when you do your street project. So these are all different documents we use. I can provide links after the meeting, inshallah, to kind of, if you're interested to read some of the documents. There's a lot of information here, and we don't have time today to get through all the documents. But in terms of the overview, I just want to make sure that any city, you have to have a long-term vision for your city, how you want to improve it, how you want to build upon it, so you can serve your residents and your customers better in the future. So that's the first thing I wanted to briefly discuss, was the long-term vision. And I won't say much about it. I'll just move on from that. I really want to talk about today is the short term. Any department, any city, you need a short term, what we call capital budget request or capital improvement plan. So Minneapolis, and not just Minneapolis, every city in America, every public works department, they have a 5 or 6 year programming into the future. Because every year you need to know what you're doing in terms of what you're building, streets, bridges, water department, sewer department, traffic. They need to know their staff and also the residents in the city. They need to know what's happening in the next 5 years. So this is very, very important, because not just what you're doing, but also how you're going to fund it money wise. Obviously, as engineers, the work we do comes with a budget, and you need to know how much money you have in your budget so you can plan your work for the future. So Minneapolis, I'll briefly go through our 5-year funding plan for public works to give you an understanding of how we plan and budget our projects. In my group, we do is 3 things. We plan, we design, and we engineer. So before we do any design, you need to know what you're going to do, right? So this is 2025. We have all the projects this year already ready for construction. And then next year, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, we have all the projects programmed ready to go so that we can start working on these projects in the future, because some of these projects takes multiple years to design and construct. So we need to start early on. So we have our paving project. So my group, we do streets and roads. And every year we spend between $57 to $100 million in construction costs, building streets and sidewalks and all different type of street projects. I think, yeah. So in this table, you can see we are in 2025. This is our budget year, and we have a lot of different projects and programs we do each year, and we have a specific budget for these projects. So in 2025, you can see we have a parkway paving program. We have the alley project, asphalt resurfacing program. There's different projects, and there's a list. Let me go here. There's second page, third page. You see at the bottom here, these are the totals for each year. So this year, if you add up all the street projects we're doing in 2025, the total is $82 million. Next year, we're planning to do $57 million. 2027, we're planning $97 million. 2028 is going to be the bigger year. We're planning to do $100 million of construction street projects. And then finally, 2029, 80 million. 2020, is too far. You can ignore this column here. But going back, you can see that we are planning and also budgeting. These numbers you see, these costs are from our engineer group. Our engineers, they work with our budget group to give them costs. For example, the first one here is a parkway paving program. We estimate, for different years, different costs, and our engineers develop these costs and provide it to the mayor's office to include in the budget. So, understanding your budget and in the 5-year outlook is very important in order to do your street projects. So that's the first thing I would emphasize, is developing this 5-year plan. Also, as part of our plan, we have sidewalks that we also repair every year. It's a smaller budget, $2.8 million. We have a lot of sidewalk that's in poor condition that we need to upgrade. You can see on the left side here, this sidewalk does not have ADA. ADA, what does it stand for? Disability, American Disability Act. So in America, we emphasize people that have disability issues, people in wheelchairs that cannot walk, that need help, crossing the intersections. So we create these ramps so they can easily cross the intersection. So we have a program to upgrade these ramps and sidewalks every single year. And you can see the budget, right, for the sidewalk for the next 5 years is pretty consistent, 2.8 million for the next 5-6 years. Bridges, we also have a bridge program. The Minneapolis, we have 107 bridges that we maintain. So there's two things. We build new bridges. Also, we do rehab. We repair existing bridges as well. So if you add up the cost to build new bridges, also maintain existing bridges, we're looking almost at $60 million every single year to maintain our bridges. And once again, similar to the street program, we have a different type of bridge work we do every year. And we also have a budget for each individual year. And let me go to the next slide here. Yeah, so 2025, this year, we're doing around $28 million of bridge work. 2026 is closer to 30. And then, wow, from 2026 to 27, we have a big jump. We go from 30 million to $58 million in bridge work, and then back down to 16 million. See, it depends on each year what's happening. So it's not always the same. You have to, look, some years you might do more work. Some years you do less work based on the funding you have for that particular year. Also, we have our traffic and street lighting program. This is very important. I mentioned we have 830 signals. You can see on the picture here in the city. We also have 50,000 lights that we maintain so people can walk and see when they're walking and driving along the city. So that's a lot of infrastructure that we have to maintain every year. And we do a combination of putting new signals and new lights, also repairing existing lights as well. And that budget is roughly, depending on the year, $11 to $21 million every single year. Once again, same thing. We have a budget for our traffic and street lights. Let me go. Yeah, so it goes from $21 million all the way to $12 million in the future. So, and everything is broken out, traffic signal, lights, traffic management systems, everything is organized and funded. Next, I'll look into our utilities. So before I mentioned was streets and bridges and traffic lights. Now this is our underground systems, which is very important. So we have 3 utilities at the city of Minneapolis that we maintain. We have sanitary, we have storm, and we have water. Sanitary is all the sewer system that comes from the buildings and the homes that we collect from all the buildings, and we pipe it through pipe systems underneath the ground to our treatment plants. We have a wastewater treatment plant that we collect all the sewer in the whole city, and we take it to a facility to clean the dirty water. And that involves a lot of maintenance as well. So our sanitary sewer is roughly $17 to $22 million every year in terms of ongoing work that we do to maintain our infrastructure. As I mentioned, we collect and convey the wastewater to protect public health, because this is very important, in terms of the people's health and cleaning this dirty water. And there's a lot of infrastructure. And a lot of the infrastructure for our sanitary system is very old. Some of them might be over 100 years old. As you can see, some of these pictures, they're very poor condition. So every single year, we have to try to either completely upgrade it, put new sanitary sewer and manholes, or try to line the existing ones to make sure it lasts longer. And then same thing, you can see there's a theme happening here. We have a 5-year, 6-year budget every year for our sanitary sewer funds. The sanitary is a little different compared to street projects. We charge residents, people, the buildings, property owners, we charge them a fee every year to provide the service, to collect their sewer. Same thing for water, and also water. They pay for the water to drink it. But I'll talk more about that. Storm sewer. So Minneapolis, we have a lot of beautiful lakes and creeks and a river. And when it rains, we have to make sure our roads are not flooded. I was recently in Hargeisa. I've seen when it rains in Hargeisa and Boroma, the streets they flood a lot. And Minnesota, when it rains, you'll never see any flooding. Our streets are always, most of the time, they're clean. There's no standing water because we have very good infrastructure to collect the storm water when it rains, and we put it into our sewer system so that it does not flood the streets. And we take those the water, and we try to clean it before we put it back into the lake and rivers. So as I mentioned, we have different programs. We have we have a tunnel system that collects a lot of water. We have our drain systems. But long story, we have roughly $20 million every year. We maintain our storm sewer infrastructure to make sure we collect those waters, we treat the water before it goes into the river and lake, and make sure the water quality is because when it rains, the water it collects a lot of dirt and sediment, and we make sure to clean that sediment before it goes into the river and in the lakes. Once again, we have also a 5-year budget for that as well. And you can see every year it goes between $20 to $21 million in funding for that. Lastly, for utilities is water. Minneapolis this year they did the state of Minnesota they did a survey. They said Minneapolis, we have the best tasting water. Our water is the best tasting, man. We do a very good job of cleaning the water and also distributing it to our residents and customers. So there's two aspects to water treatment. One is drinking water that we provide. Also, we provide water for example, hydrants. So when there's a fire, the fire department can use the water for emergency purposes. This picture here is Somali students that came to the water treatment facility. We gave them a little tour of our site and how we treat the water. So we take very dirty water and we make it to very clean drinkable water. And I think this is one of the most important departments at the city of Minneapolis. It's public health. People, they need clean water to drink, to use for a lot of different purposes. And we have a pretty very important budget for this. So we have $27 to $41 million every year to maintain our water and our distribution system at the city of Minneapolis. And we provide drinking water to over 500,000 residents in Minneapolis, as well as some adjacent cities. And so, yeah, this is kind of another picture of our treatment plant here. You can see the water is being cleaned in this big tank here. And here's a little water fountain that we have as well. Picture. Water fund, same thing, same exact thing. We have a 5-6 year plan to invest. Let me go to the next slide here. We go, 5-year plan we have in terms of our budget from $36 million to $41 million every year. Fleet services. So in order to do our work, as I mentioned, we have a lot of equipment. You can see here, large trucks, we have pickup trucks, we have a lot of different equipment that we need to do our work. And we have a division that's only responsible for maintaining it, the oil change, buying new vehicles. If the vehicles break down, we have a big mechanic shop at the city. They fix all the trucks and cars for the city of Minneapolis. So we have another department. Same thing. They also have a budget. Every year they have, between $1 million to, $800,000 every year, or $5 million, sorry, to maintain our equipment. And then I think there's the last department, transportation. So this is a very, very important department, because Minneapolis, we have, like I mentioned, thousands of kilometers of streets and infrastructure. We also, half the year it snows. And so in the other half, we have a lot of breakdown of our streets, because you can't rebuild all the streets every year. So a lot of streets are in very bad condition. So we have our transportation maintenance repair department. They do several things. In the wintertime, they plow all the streets, all 4,000 kilometers of streets, they plow it. They remove all the snow with these big trucks. Also, they use a lot of salt to melt the ice and clean the roads so we can drive safely in the city. In the summer, springtime, they do street sweeping. You can see these big trucks. They clean the streets from all the wasakh and qasha on the streets. They clean it. So make sure our streets and sidewalks are clean and presentable during the summer and springtime. Also, they do fix potholes. If there's any issues with the street damage, they come out, they pour asphalt to fill up any holes in the street. They also do repair jobs. If anything fails, we have concrete and asphalt crews that build streets if there's a need for that as well. Also, they do seal coat. They do surface treatment of the asphalt to have a longer lifetime as well. So this is a very big division. My friend, his name is Ahmed Omar. He's the manager of this division. He manages all the work here. He's a Somali brother, manages work here.
Yeah.
And then last one, how I solid waste recycling. This one is all the qashin, they pick up all the trash in the city of Minneapolis. They do a lot of good work too here. They have a budget too. Their budget will have like $50 million a year to pick up all the trash qashin in the city. Okay, and the next topic is engineering standards and what is this? Sorry, engineering licensure. So any city, you have to have qualified people that need to do the work, whether it's the engineering, planning, maintenance, whatever it is, there has to be some sort of standard. Because if there's no standards, then the quality is in question. The quality might be good or bad. You can't guarantee that, especially if you have a lot of tax people in the city, they pay taxes on Ashur al-Bi'yan. They want to make sure that what they're paying, they're getting quality service. So in order to provide quality service for our customers that live and work in Minneapolis, we have to have certain standards that we follow. And Minneapolis, especially for our engineering department, we have different, administrations. So for example, Minneapolis, we have our own engineering standards. We also have the state of Minnesota, Gobolka, Minnesota. They also have a Department of Transportation. They have their own rules. We have to follow engineering rules and standards. And then also the federal government, Mr. Trump, they have their own Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration. They have all their rules. There is a lot of standards and specification and rules we have to follow to do the work. You can't just build a street or design a street or a bridge without following all the necessary design specifications and standards. And on top of that, as engineer, I also took a license exam. I'm a licensed professional engineer, so I cannot do any design or work without having a license. But you have to first work as a training engineer for 4 years, after you have to take a test in time to be licensed as a professional engineer in order to do this very important work. Because for example, a bridge, if you don't design the bridge appropriately, correctly, a lot of people can die if the bridge fails or collapses. So this is related to public health and public safety. So you have to make sure you have qualified people that are licensed and have qualifications in order to do the work. So this is a very important thing I say for any city, is to have some sort of standards, right? Make sure you don't do anything without having that qualification. Same thing like a doctor or pharmacist. You don't want to have a fake doctor giving people medications or a pharmacist giving people incorrect medication, because people's lives are at stake. People can die from that. So you want to make sure people are qualified. And then the last two things I have are, this is one of the very, very important for any city or public or government, is competitive bidding. In Minnesota, you want to be very fair with your work. You want to hire the best people to do the work. For example, constructions, we don't do the construction. We have a contractor to do the work. So we do something called competitive bidding. So you do a design, you have your construction plans, and then you advertise it, and then you have the lowest bidder, qualified lowest bidder, meaning whoever has the lowest cost bid as well as being qualified to do the work. We don't do direct selection, direct procurement, meaning we don't just go call someone and say, hey, sahib, we don't do that. We have to advertise it, and then we bid it on the lowest bidder who has the best price. Because at the end of the day, this is the public trust. You're using the taxpayers' money. You want to have the lowest cost to build the job. So we have a very strict procurement bidding process at the city of Minneapolis. We don't do direct selection, or we don't restrict any bidding. We do a very open bidding process for all our work, whether it's construction, design. Anytime you hire anyone to do work for the city, you have to go through this open process. And people also have to be qualified, and they have to provide the lowest bid possible in terms of everyone that's bidding. So this is a very, very important aspect in terms of doing work for any city or government agency is open bid or competitive bids. And then the last thing before I open up for questions is ethics and trust. You, as public servants, we work for the public. We're not in the private sector. We work for the public. We work for the government. There's a very big trust that people have on us to use all these millions of dollars that we take from people that work hard. This is their salary, right? On short of what we take from the Wisha, we take a lot of money from them, people that live in the city. We take that money in order to benefit them in terms of roads, water, all this different infrastructure. So you have to have a very high ethics and morale and trust. And that's very, very important. If you don't have any trust, the people will not trust you, and that can lead to the whole city, everything collapsing. And I wanted to share a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, from Sahih Bukhari Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ said, when a man governs people and dies while he cheats them, Allah will forbid paradise for him. One thing is, that kind that live in America and Europe, one thing, they're not Muslims, but one thing I like about them is they are very just when it comes to public money. Minneapolis nothing. Every dollar we take from the public, it's very clear where that money is going and how we're using that money. If we tell you this street costs $1 million, we can prove it. I can prove it to you. I have all the receipts, the billing, invoice, everything is ready to present. And every year in the city, we do auditing. We audit our work. We have finance people come in and say, Adam, show us all your invoices, your payments to the contractor. Everything we have to be very open and honest. So, and it's even more as Muslims, as Somali, we have to be honest about our work, because this is a very big trust that we are given as a public servant in order to help our community and improve the infrastructure for our residents in our cities. So that's the last thing I want to conclude is the trust and ethics as engineers and people as Muslims is to be honest in our work. And that's all I have. This is a very big topic. I didn't have much time today. I just want to keep it very brief. Inshallah, we can answer. You guys have any questions? I can try my best to answer those questions, inshallah.
This marks the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening, and if you would like to learn more or get in touch, please visit us at somalieNgineers.org.